What's going on, sports fans? This is Jake Waxspan.
And Tyler Lavalette.
Two guys talk sports with another Friday roundtable. Call it whatever you want.
Yep.
All right, Tyler, where shall we begin on this beautiful Friday?
We just had a rather overhyped World Series between the Yankees and Dodgers, representing the two biggest media markets in the country, and it ended in 5 games. The Dodgers were just too good. Yankees were lucky to at least get one win, and Ray Freeman had a good streak of home runs and was clearly the series MVP, no questions asked.
Morning, Rhonda. All right, so basically, okay, I try my best to avoid bias, but in this case, if you were a Yankees hater, this was a boon for you. This was a great series for you to watch, especially if you really just loathe the Yankees. And we all should have known. Okay, that grand slam in Game 1, the walk-off grand slam that won the Dodgers Game 1, that was pretty much an indication of how the series was going to go. That's like, all right, series over just like that. I probably should have been laughing at the time, but I'm not really a big fan of either one of these teams. It was kind of like, can they both lose? But, hey, someone had to win the series, and congrats to the Dodgers. They deserve it. They pretty much just KO'd the Yankees. And Game 1, that pretty much decided the whole series.
Yep, and there was also some other instances. Like, there were 2 fans tried to go during Game 4. 2 fans tried to go after, tried to pry a ball from Mookie Betts' glove.
Oh, my God.
One even grabbed his arm and tried around here, like trying to grab the ball. Those 2 knuckleheads lost their seats, and a cancer kid got them instead.
Oh,
well, kid had cancer is.
Hey, well, no one's gonna say good for that kid, but also not smart on those 2. Bartman, let's just say you came on that you failed miserably. Okay, Steve. Yeah,
it's not a good look.
Yeah,
and they're not perma banned. They just got banned for Game 5.
Okay, and
I imagine they'll be back because there's long time season ticket holders for 25. So I imagine they'll be back in 25. So
yeah, like I said, like Tyler said, they'll probably be back. But just another reason people or America outside of New York dislikes the Yankees, whether it's due to the fans or just the overall fact that these Yankee fans throughout the years have been spoiled by success.
And Game 5, the Dodgers really only were down 5-0, but the Yankees found a good way to implode it with bad defensive plays for trying to do a ground to get the final out.
Yeah.
It's the comeback for that in Game 5 really started with such defensive idiocy.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? You can also say, you know what? Okay, me and Tyler, we follow this guy who goes by the name of Scholasser, or as he's commonly referred to as the U Tree. And he was having a field day with the Yankees, and but he was right about one thing.
We saw this with the Orioles in 2016. You bring in Ubaldo Jimenez, your white-hot closer against the Blue Jays in the wild card game, and yeah. Now he is in 24.
Yep.
Some things never change.
Yeah. Just like even the thing that I'll remember from this World Series is just the guy who hit the grand slam. He's like, "Yep, it's gone."
Yeah, Freeman knew.
Like he knew.
And hey, it's great so the Dodgers can actually say something that fans of 29 other teams can't. Their TV announcer, while still on game neutrally on Fox, actually called their team in the World Series and throughout the postseason.
Very meaningful.
Joe Davis. I mean, he took over Vince Scully for Dodger TV on Sportsnet LA, and has been well liked in there for so long.
Yeah,
guys from Pottsville, Michigan, near Lansing, and was even rumored at times for the Tigers job, but declined.
Absolutely, I love a good, meaningful story in which like a guy who's put the work in, no matter where he's from, a guy who's put the work in for whatever team he calls the games for and gets the call. Not only a World Series for the team that he's worked so hard for, but to call a team that won the World Series, it's special. It's very special indeed.
Vince Scully got you out of the Dodgers in the 80s with MVP in 88, so
Yeah.
Not the first time thing.
Yeah.
But now we wait until March.
Yep. Baseball will be back before you know it.
Yep.
Hang in there, time.
Yep, and I of course wait what happens with how Tigers viewing will be going going forward because of the whole situation with the now rebranded FanDuel Sports Networks.
Yeah.
So teams are done with that channel, including the Twins, Guardians, and Brewers and Rangers.
Yeah, there you go.
All but the Rangers are going to MLB's.TV. The Rangers are doing their own thing.
There you go.
But will Tigers join our AL Central friends in Cleveland, Minnesota? We'll see.
Yep, absolutely. It'll be interesting to watch. Like I said, the TV is always changing year by year.
Yep, and let's not forget free agency. What's going to happen with Juan Soto? He's going to be last year it was Shohei who was the big push. This year it's for free agency. This year it's Soto, and the Dodgers helped the World Series get such huge numbers in Japan alone.
Yeah, and of course those guys that you mentioned, big reason why the Dodgers won. All that they had all that firepower, and it's just too much for the Yankees. And then the Yankees really got in their own way too at the same time.
And heck, even when Game 5 against the Padres, it was overtime. John Wall versus Darvish. That was a widely viewed game in Japan because the start times would be 9 a.m. on their time the following day.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Well, once more, congrats to the Dodgers on winning the World Series.
And two more things.
Mm-hmm.
One, no asterisk like 2020. And two, it didn't happen in 2020 because of COVID. Enjoy your parade. You're doing it on Fernando Valenzuela's birthday. He sadly passed away before the series began. They won for him.
Enjoy the parade, LA, and party up. You've earned it.
Yeah, they did. All right, Jake.
So, for those of you who have been wondering, yes, college basketball season's back. Me and my folks, we're stoked about it. I'm sure all of you here in Michigan are stoked about it. So, Tyler, what you looking forward to most this college basketball season, or what's on your mind going into college hoop season 2024-2025?
You just never know what's going to happen. It seems cliche to think you never know what's going to happen. I mean, years back, the SEC used to be dominated by Kentucky. It's long gone anymore. I mean, your Oakland Bulldogs took out Kentucky in March Madness, and Kyle Party's now gone.
Yep.
You ended a team and coach my late father used to not be fans of.
Same with my my grandfather or my mom's dad. He does not like John Calipari. So if we texted that night and he was like, "Were you excited about Oakland's victory?" And I said yes. And he said it makes it even better that it came against Kentucky.
Oh, my dad would have loved it as well. And congratulating him on the fact that Jake's old school ended Calipari.
I was also just gonna say, John Calipari, he may have escaped to Arkansas, but every night in his sleep he sees Jack Golke sinking threes. That's really just a joke, me making a joke.
I know. I'm just laughing and taking my head at that one. Anyway,
yeah.
But as far as 24 or 25 is concerned, it's just really hard to say. I mean, State could be, I don't know how long Izzo has left with State. I mean, I'm not saying he's not in any hot seat per se, but he's going to eventually retire. It's going to happen at some point. Same with Campy at Oakland.
Yeah.
Those two guys, how long do they have left at their schools here in the Mitten State, in Wolverine State?
That's something that's been on my mind too, to be honest. Yeah. The thing is, Izzo, he'll go down as probably the most legendary coach in Michigan State history, but it's we're all replaceable cogs in the machine. Our time for retirement comes. The sport passes us by eventually. And as good as Izzo has been doing on the recruiting trail lately, coaching's a whole different story. And I've been getting to notice too that he's, to an extent, as far as Oakland goes, it'll be interesting to see how this team does without Trey Townsend, who transferred to Arizona.
Right.
He was a big piece of that team that not only made it back to the NCAA tournament, but upset Kentucky. And he had a pretty nice game against Kentucky, too.
Came out close to making the round of 16. I was at that B-dub, I was at the Watford B-dub with Mark, and hearing about going crazy for OU there was awesome.
I bet it was.
And I have to say, seeing people mistake Oakland and the whole golden thing for California was actually kind of fun.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this. And Oakland, even themselves, they had to address the thing, hey, we're here in Michigan. We're not Oakland, California.
Yeah, it was more funny than anything else.
Yeah,
our state's little thing.
Absolutely. What do you think about Michigan's chances? You think they can bounce back and make it back to the tournament this year with first-year coach Dusty May?
We'll see what happens. I mean, another first full-year coach and their football program hasn't been doing too well. Yeah. Unfortunately, Harbaugh's Harbaugh's in LA.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the bigger Big Ten now, or the Big 18, as I like to call it, because now there's 18 teams.
Oh man, it's just.
I mean, I don't know if they'll get back this year, but Dusty May's a good coach. I like him a lot as a coach. Mm-hmm. Got potential, and he's got his work cut out for him at Michigan, but he could do it. He's just got some work to do down there, but they could surprise some people and get back to the tournament this year. You just never know. The Big Ten is, in a way, a mystery itself.
Yep.
And it's, kind of the same thing with, there's a lot of people that have Purdue picked as the favorite to go back-to-back, or the three-peat for the Big Ten regular season championship. Mm-hmm. But anything can happen. And keep in mind, this Purdue team is young. They don't have Zach Edey anymore, who's now in the NBA and actually doing pretty well, if I say so, or from what I've seen.
Uh-huh.
But there's a lot of other teams. You got Indiana who could take the Big Ten crown. They got a very talented roster. I mean, they worked hard in the portal, but they got plenty of talent returning from last year's team as well. If they're not, I'll be shocked if they're not back in the big dance, of course, in terms of the tournament.
We'll see.
Yep, UCLA should have a great first year in the Big Ten. I was shocked they had a down year. So we'll see about UCLA. I think they'll make the tournament. I think they'll be a top 3 team in the Big Ten. We'll see. And, it's going to be the rest. I mean, Illinois, they reloaded in the portal, but, of course, most of that team is not returning. I still think they'll make the tournament, but we'll see how overall they do. And, go ahead, Tom.
Yep, and of course, same of all the other big conferences out there, and even the smaller ones that want to get a team in the March Madness. We'll see how it all shapes up when we get the conference tournament time in March Madness.
Absolutely, it's a long regular season.
You got the pre-conference tournament. You got conference play. You got the conference tournament, and you got the March Madness.
Oh yeah,
it's a long grind. It doesn't seem that way, but yeah, it's a long grind.
Yeah, only those who've played college basketball will understand this. Besides Michigan and Michigan State, Ty, who would you say is a team that you're keeping an eye on this year that could potentially surprise a lot of people and make the tournament or a deep?
I know you brought up teams like Purdue and Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see how the other West Coast teams do, like Washington and Oregon, and you said USC, right?
Yes,
and UCLA especially as well. They're doing decent in football, especially Oregon, but it's going to be a lot different with basketball now going forward. So we'll see.
Yep, absolutely. They're in the Big Ten now. It's a different beast now that they're taking on. I think, like I said, I think UCLA will do really well. Oregon, they could be a top 4 team. That's another team that could be a surprise team. Like, could make the tournament, but it's a team that could potentially be a dark horse candidate for the Big Ten regular season championship. They did pretty well at the end of last year, and they had a really good team going into March. Part of that also was they had injuries before March and still were able to rally and get into the tournament. Now,
some teams don't have that. Don't have that quit in them yet.
yeah, I tell you what, the one team I'll be keeping an eye on this year, outside of like Purdue and Oakland, is the Butler Bulldogs. This is a team that looked like they were going to make the tournament last year. They just kind of stumbled into February, but they're bringing back a lot of that same talent, and Thad Matta's going to be back. I'm going to be curious to see how they do. This is a team that could be a dark horse contender for an NCAA tournament spot if they could put everything together.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes in that Big East.
Yeah, Big East is always an interesting conference to watch.
Yeah, and speaking of, you're going to be needing Peacock a lot for the college basketball season. Athletic 10 games exclusive. We'll have some games exclusively on there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Big Ten exclusive games exclusively on there. And Big East especially, and even in tournament play.
Yep.
For Big Ten Big East, there'll be some games on Peacock. So
yep.
You're gonna be needing that subscription a lot.
Yeah. Thankfully, me and my folks actually we decided to just all right, we'll get the subscription for crying out loud. So we don't, because a lot of it is Purdue is gonna have 6 games from what I count on Peacock.
Michigan's gonna have a few and State's gonna have a few, but unlike last year, Michigan State, neither Michigan State game will be on that service. It'll be on either CBS or Fox. So,
all right. On one final note, I'm curious in terms of Purdue basketball. I'm curious to see how they are going to balance out this rotation that they got, because not having Zach Edey anymore is definitely going to be huge for Purdue. They've got at center they now have Will Berg and Daniel Jacobson. One's a redshirt sophomore, and the other is a freshman. It'll be interesting to see if Jacobson even plays any minutes. Are they going to redshirt him? That's another question. And based on kind of the scrimmages I've seen, are guys like Cam Heide and Miles Colvin really going to be starting on the team, or are we going to see freshmen like Jakari Harris or Will Cox, or sorry, not CJ Cox. Sorry about the name there. Those guys have impressed in Purdue's exhibition games. Will one of them get a starting spot? That is something that I am curious to see, because, like I said, this Purdue team, it's going to be younger. Can they repeat it or three-peat as Big Ten champions? Yeah, we'll see if it happens, because there's a lot of new pieces in place and a lot of other questions to solve, like how are they going to balance out, like who's going to play at the 5, for example. So these are all thoughts that are just going through my mind going into the first game of the season against Texas A&M Corpus Christi on Monday. What about you? Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, we can make all these predictions all we want. As I always say, matchups don't get decided on paper.
No, they don't, and especially not in college basketball, which is as wide open as they get. We're looking at UConn's the favorite to three-peat as national champions, but we'll see. That's all we can do is just turn on our televisions and watch, and that's the beauty of college basketball. It is as competitive, even with the NIL. It's really competitive and as wide open as you'll ever get.
Mm-hmm.
What a time to be a college basketball fan!
Yep, what a time!
And that's where just one more final thought. Okay, so I have some conflicting opinion. I won't state too much about the NIL. I have conflicting opinions. In some ways, I think it's helped the game. In other ways, it's hurt the game. But right now, I think as of now, the product of college basketball is in a very good spot.
Going forward, going to be the question.
Yes.
Same with what could happen with other conference realignments. I mean, we thought the Pac-12 was on death's door, and it's gotten a few Mountain West Conference teams.
Now the Pac-12 or the Pac-2, as I like to call them, now they'll be back to being the Pac-12 someday. They're now eating the Mountain West, or eating their lunch or dinner, whatever you want to say. They're taking some of the big name teams from there, and I heard they even added Memphis, which to me just blows my mind. But I'll never.
Well, then again, come on. The ACC took 2 schools on the West Coast, so make you will of that.
I only got one thing to say about that. Money talks. That's the big reason.
Everything
Yeah.
revolves around the almighty dollar.
Yeah. The only other concern I have in terms of like the state of the game is constant changing rosters throughout each and every season, because a lot of players now hit the portal looking for one of these NIL deals. But thankfully, as of right now, the product that is college basketball is in a good spot. And like Tyler said, going forward, that's the question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to say about college basketball? Any other thoughts?
Not off my head.
All right.
We'll definitely do bracket predictions when we get towards March.
Oh yeah.
But right now, we just sit back, relax, and enjoy some college basketball.
Indeed, we're all excited. You guys know me. I'll be repping Purdue and Oakland pretty well. So go Golden Grizzlies, boiler up. Tyler, you.
And I'll go here as well. Go blue, go green. I have nobody on stage basketball success. Is no legend.
Yep, stuff of legends. All right, I'm ready to close the subject if you are and let you move on to what you think is going to be a very interesting third subject. Take it away.
Oh, this is going to be a good one. I didn't watch because I don't have Amazon Prime on my TV yet. But my gosh, what is up with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers?
You know what? I'll try to answer your question a little bit about that, Tyler. Here's the thing. You know what? I'm not sure. You know what? I think I know who the owner of the Jets actually is. And it's not who is labeled as the owner. The owner of the Jets is Aaron Rodgers. This is just my humble opinion, okay? It's Aaron Rodgers. You know what? I think the reason Coach Saleh got fired was because Aaron Rodgers had a hand in it. He's the real puppeteer behind all this, if you will. I mean, how else did the Jets get Devontae Adams? He wanted to come to New York to play with his buddy Aaron Rodgers. So that's just my opinion there.
Like, come on. Anytime I see this in Wikipedia edits where someone makes an edit where they claim that they own another team, if it's like on the mount, if the baseball, for example, on the dominating fashion. Those get screen grabbed, and because you know that stuff's gonna get deleted.
Oh, Wikipedia.
But I mean, come on. Someone probably I don't know if it's happened yet, but someone probably changed the owner tab on the Jets wiki page to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm man enough to admit he is still in my mind the true owner of the Bears. Not the McCaskies as it's labeled, but the Bears just do whatever he says, I guess. But of course, he's just in New York, so he hasn't been in.
Can't exactly have influence on the Bears Stadium debacle now.
No. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if he's pulling the strings too. Like either whether it's I'm not even sure. Like if he's really pulling the strings there, then what are we doing? Like, are we going to Arlington Heights, or are we just going to stay in Chicago and stay along the way? I have no idea where this is going, and it just feels like that the whole situation. Well, I missed.
What happened there?
Looks like your battery is going a little.
Ooh, battery low.
Right, time to improvise.
Sorry about that. Volts is a little.
Was hanging in.
Cord needs a little.
I will also say this. Okay, yes, they won against the Texans last night.
Big whoop.
Yep. Whoop-de-doo. But according to me and Tyler, there's still a mystery. I have no idea what to make of this Jets organization. And you know what? Being a guy who's even studied like the history of the NFL, but you know what? Since the Joe Namath days, I have no idea what to make of the Jets. Like, are they taking this football thing seriously, or are there dark forces at hand? I don't know. Sorry, Tyler.
No, I don't blame you. It seems a mystery. I mean, what I don't get is why they are playing at MetLife. I played at Giant Stadium and I played at MetLife. When they started, well, not when they started out right per se, but they were doing okay at Shea. They were separate from where the Giants were playing at. Why would you move those teams to New Jersey, out of New York into New Jersey, and be one of two markets to share a stadium?
Well,
the NBA, we don't have that anymore because the Lakers and Clippers went their own separate way. Now the Clippers have their own stadium.
If I had to guess, it's just money savings and nothing more than that. But I also will say, are we sure they're the New York Jets? Are we sure they're not the New Jersey Jets?
Well, they still use the New York. Both teams still use the New York branding to still say the NFL has a presence in the biggest media market.
Yeah, I kind of figure. I just, like I said, it's something I like to joke about. And some people joke about, like, oh, they're not really the New Jersey.
Yeah.
They play New Jersey.
Yeah, a decade ago, I remember what the Super Bowl 48 was in. We held the Super Bowl 48 there, and the big events were still held in New York, even though the New York market.
Yeah, absolutely.
But back to this Jets team.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, it's great that Rodgers is actually playing a full season after only not getting able to play long last year at all. And of course, he got a Hail Mary. He still has some old magic on the Hail Mary slings.
Yeah.
But they're not leading the AFC East at all.
Nope.
They're as bad as the Patriots.
That's actually, I mean, they just lost the Patriots, and before this game, they were last in their division, even with Aaron Rodgers leading the charge. All I got on this, I just say Jets gonna Jets.
It's not pretty. It's a good thing I'm like I mean, you might people used to say, "Oh, why are you afraid of the Lions?" At least that team is competently run now and coached.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're enjoying. We got 2 straight opportunities for national TV this Sunday against the Packers on Fox, and next Sunday night against Houston on NBC.
Well, those will be good games, and
let's not forget the Bears. Any other incident being added on Thanksgiving Day and other stuff.
Yep. I guess, I mean, we could talk about the rest of our other NFL thoughts since we're kind of going into week 9 or the halfway point of the NFL season. But to close out on the Jets, okay? Look, let's be honest. All right. They may have Aaron Rodgers, but right now, they fancy themselves as a playoff team, but I'm not buying it. Okay, I never did at the beginning of the season. All right, I'm kind of one of those people who thinks, okay, Aaron Rodgers past his prime. So he still has some in it, but you know what? He just doesn't have enough to really carry this New York Jets team. And right now, I'm sorry. I cannot. I feel bad for Jets fans, okay, because of this whole team is complicated, but because of that, I can't take the Jets seriously until something changes at the top and until Aaron Rodgers leaves New York. Okay, I can't take the Jets seriously.
Likewise, you can't. I'm just glad we don't have to worry about him in the Central. But that's not saying much.
Yeah.
His appearances on Pat McAfee are controversial. And former teammates of him on national TV call him out as a bad player nowadays, and not a good leader and whatever. It's not pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, they got Aaron Rodgers just personality-wise, he has rubbed me up a lot the wrong way. Not just because he tortured my Bears. All right. A great football player, but to me, just a human being that I feel like I couldn't get along with him if I tried. Even if I met him, I don't know. He's got a lot of opinions. Let's just leave it there. That's me kind of. So.
Yeah, and let me just say, that first Hail Mary against the Lions 9 years ago, I know it happened because of a clear face mask. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can't end the game on a penalty. But yeah, I know, but and this may sound counter to the rules. It still should not have been allowed. That clock hit zeros at that play, the tackle.
Yep.
Yes, the face mask negated it. Dad told me correctly when I made that point, but it's still true. My point is still that it should not have counted. Yes, the rules and all, but still.
I'll tell you, I think we agree on. It seems like there's always holding on every successful Hail Mary or some penalty that doesn't get called. And you can ask the Vikings about this back a few years ago when Fran Tarkenton was the quarterback for Minnesota Vikings. There was a game against the Cowboys, and it was I can't remember if it was divisional or it might have been the NFC Championship game. Cowboys needed a miracle, and they got what was pretty much dubbed the first Hail Mary. What people forget about that first Hail Mary is the receiver, Drew Pearson, who caught it, actually pushed off a defender, which should have been OPI at the time, but the refs called it a touchdown instead. And so I have a hard time with because the first ones happened. A lot of it had to do with a missed call. What people forget is there was a missed call on that, the very first Hail Mary.
I'm sure there was probably a few missed calls during that Bears Commanders Hail Mary last week.
I even was watching. I'm pretty sure there was at least one or two instances where they were holding, but they never call anything on Hail Mary, sadly.
Nope.
Yeah,
and I want to talk about the play prior to the Rodgers Hail Mary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because
too.
Yeah, you think hand the game on a penalty.
Yeah. So just.
But anyway, yeah.
Go ahead. Huh?
Anyway, we get other NFL things. It's like,
go for
it. What's up with the Bengals these days? I mean, yeah, they're coming back, and they have yet to win at home, for example.
Yeah, that's not good. If you can't win a game at home, you're in trouble.
That jungle of theirs isn't intimidating.
No, that's no jungle anymore right now. It's or it's a jungle that's been burnt down or something. I don't know, for lack of better words.
Ugh.
Yeah, but to add on to Tyler's point, I think you know what a lot of it has to do with coaching right now for the Bengals. Zach Taylor is let's just say he's in over his head, and as things stand right now, if the Bengals finish the season, if they miss the playoffs, I think he's gone. Simple as that. I think there's a chance he could even be fired before the season's over. He could end up with the same fate as Robert Saleh. Get the pink card before the NFL season even ends.
Yep, you know what? Why wait for Black Monday?
Right. I guess now we're talking about coaches on the hot seat, and he's definitely.
Yeah. That was the Honolulu flu that people need. You should always worry about. Titans, I don't see you winning. You face the Lions. You face any team that faces the Lions, they somehow get stricken.
The Titans are a team that are already having a difficult season too, and they just changed head coaches. I think, honestly, there's a lot that I could go on. They got the quarterback situation all wrong in Tennessee. Will Levis is not looking good there. But, oh, my gosh, the game against the Lions, that was and that's a decent Titans defense, and they allowed the Lions to score 52 freaking points.
To think they made it at 14-14 it was at 14-14 at one point early on.
Just wow.
And now you just keep seeing, and your phone keeps blowing up with all those scores.
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, but also, Tyler, give your team some credit. That shows you how mighty this Lions team really is and how, as a team, as a whole, how not only how focused they are and how good of a coach you got in Dan Campbell, but just that the team is deep. Even and they lost Aiden Hutchinson for the season, and yet they're still chiming. They're still humming. They're still roaring.
Yep. No Hutch, no problems. He'll be fine.
Yep. Hopefully he's able to come back sooner, in time for the playoffs, but we'll see. I hope he does. I really do hope he returns because that would be something. Give Detroit something to rally around. Of course, hey, right now, the Lions look like the best team in the NFC at the very least.
We're favored to go to the Super Bowl for a reason. It still boggles my mind that I believe them now, but even several years back, you still just had to roll your eyes and think, people are saying the Lions are actually going to be the best to give us a title. Now I see why.
I wouldn't have believed it either, but here you guys are. You got some, and if you're a Detroit sports, it's not just the Lions. You got Tigers who made it, and Tyler's probably the happiest guy that made a surprise postseason run.
That I was not expecting, but it was well.
Yep, and got a lot to build on there. The Wings are building things up. I don't know the direction of the Pistons, unfortunately. I couldn't tell
Yeah,
you.
Pistons. I'm not. Even,
I like Jay Knight. I hope he can help him turn it around because I'm a Purdue guy and Jaden's a Purdue guy. But
I know.
dang, I just don't know.
Pistons aren't doing too good. The Wings start hasn't been pretty for 10, but it's still a long way to go.
Yeah. But right now, if you ask any Detroit, and of course, it's the Lions right now that are putting the Motor City on their backs. And I'm going to say this again. And you know what? The guys who covered Detroit Lions, they've said it best. Right now, the only team right now that, to me, can beat the Lions is themselves.
So far, it hasn't happened too much.
Yep, they haven't beaten themselves.
Granted, we had one loss against the Bucks, but that was week 2.
Yep, very early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess the only other team that I could see beating the Lions is the Chiefs, but they would have to meet up in the Super Bowl. And we'll see if that happens. I hope that's the Super Bowl because that'd be epic. I'd love to see that.
Ratings would. I mean, they're already good at it, but
we'd break the rating system if it was those two teams.
I mean, come on, it always is a ratings jump out every year, but still,
yeah.
If it's a really good game, if it's against a team, if we're the team that can deny them 3-peat,
you get your first Lombardi. There you go.
That'd be the ultimate way to say to the Bobby Lane to the Bobby Lane curse.
The front room. Yep. Ah, yes, the curse of Bobby Lane. We just had Halloween. Why not speak of curses? I'm convinced the Jets are under a curse. I can tell you what it's rumored to be. Supposedly, okay, I'll tell you. Sorry, we're going back and forth, but if you got those who want to know, so the supposed curse around the Jets is that supposedly to win Super Bowl III, Joe Namath made a deal with the devil. Supposedly said, and actually threw the Jets in on it, saying, hey, if you give me and the Jets the Super Bowl, we don't have to give them anything for the rest of my life, which would explain a lot. If that is actually the case, it would explain why the Jets have been so bad since winning Super Bowl III. But it's only a rumor.
Yeah, Namath is getting up there in age, so we'll see if that bat holds muster when I'm not gonna say much.
It's hard. This is dark stuff we're talking about related to sports, but anyway, I will say this. Okay, yes, I'm a Bears fan. I'm not a Lions fan by any means of the stretch. You guys know me. I'm Bears all the way, but Detroit, you deserve this football team. And right now, nobody deserves happiness more so than the Detroit Lions fan base. They've been through the worst of the worst and deserve to see the best of the best. I hope this team make the best of the best continue to happen. And hopefully, you guys can raise the Lombardi in New Orleans. A lot of football to play, though.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. We're the next team that we had the annoying fan base. After what we've been through, I think I can take being that for a bit.
I'll be able to handle it. I'll be like, okay, it is a fan base that has suffered a lot. Let them have some happiness. But all they got, hey, if you're the Lions, you just got to keep focused. Take it one game at a time and don't beat yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Limit the mistakes and you'll go very, very far.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and it's the same for my Bears. Okay, I don't expect the Bears to win the Super Bowl or go far in the playoffs. There's still a lot of things to work on, namely that offensive line. But, I mentioned this in my Wax on Wednesday video. You know what? That Hail Mary, another one against the Bears. God. And I will say it hurt me on the inside, but it didn't hurt me as worse as like other things like losses to Rodgers and the Packers.
Ooh.
I've seen so much pain as a Bears fan. And I'm at the point of like, yep, this is the Bears. This is who they are. But they got to beat the Cardinals this weekend. You got to bounce back because this Hail Mary that went against the Bears, it could be the difference between them being in the postseason and being on the outside looking in. Little things like that can hurt your chances of making the playoffs. I remember last year, maybe not last year, but the year before, the Patriots actually missed the playoffs off of they were lateraling the ball to try and beat the Raiders. And then one guy threw it to a Raider defender, and the guy took it all the way for a touchdown. Those things, they can cost you your season. So you got to be. So it's how you respond after little things like that. So for my Bears, how do they respond after getting their hearts or guts ripped out? Again, what looked like to be, you know what? You could say they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Tyreek Stevenson, come on, man, focus, please. Look, he apologized, I know, but come on, man, focus. Stay. The game's never over. It's still. I don't celebrate until I know the clock's hit 0, no matter what, because any kind of bullcrap can happen at any moment. That's just sports. Go for it, Tom.
Easy little cow of the week there.
That was like, he better, like, Tyreek Stevenson deserves a little cow of the week, and Tree did not disappoint. He did not disappoint. And, I mean, he deserved it. I mean, he was not focused before that Hail Mary. And he was the one that tipped the ball into the hand of the receiver. So you can also say that's football karma, too. Like, don't taunt the fans before you have to make a final play. So that's what I got to say. So to close it off about my Bears, okay? Focus. Okay? I think this team could be a playoff team, but they can't have too many more mistakes. And, got to play together as a team. Because if we miss the playoffs, you know what? Speaking of Black Monday, Matt Eberflus has got to be on the hot seat too. Talented team around him. And right now, there's questions about whether or not he can really coach this team. Even I have I'm not right now. I don't believe in Eberflus, but maybe he can surprise me. We'll see.
Right. At some point, you're going to have to think, when does he get fired if you keep getting more dumb games that don't go your way?
Yeah.
That's the thing. You have to think about that.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And I don't think he's going to get fired during the season because the Bears never fire coaches during the season. But if the Bears miss the playoffs, if I'm the owner, he gone. What else is on your mind, Tyler?
Like I said, we have free agency about to start up pretty soon. We got NASCAR done with their champion season in 2 weeks. One drove this week Monday.
Yep, 2 races to go.
IndyCar starts up with Fox next March. I've been seeing a lot of good promotional stuff for that.
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead.
It'd be awesome, but I can't really think of too much. I mean,
all right. I guess sorry. I was just going to say, I'm curious to see what the Cubs are going to do in free agency. Mm-hmm. This was a team that, again, missed the postseason. I mean, I guess I'll take missing the postseasons if it meant getting to watch them play at Wrigley Field and get a win against Tyler's Tigers. Sorry, man.
Look, that was still fun, though. I had part of me kept saying, if we can at least take one against the Cubs, that's good. We took the game. You and I watched Wednesday night.
Yep.
Wednesday night before we went. So.
And your team made the postseason. So there you go.
Yep. You would not have thought that the team that had committed so many errors back in August, on the 22nd of August,
that's right,
would be taking the last spot in the AL playoffs.
Neither would I. Like a team that had so many guys running into each other in late August, like 22nd of August. That's not a team that I would have thought would have been a postseason team, but resiliency. That Tigers team, they were resilient. They bounced back after that.
Yep. They let Detroit get hot.
And so I guess one final thought is I'm curious to see what the Cubs will do, like what kind of pieces they will add in the offseason to help better their chances of making the postseason next year. They got plenty of guys who I think are good, but they need more, especially in the most critical area in baseball, the bullpen. Need a better bullpen.
Yep. I also want to see about how even Japan, you got guys like Rogi Saki, who's going to be likely posted on the MPB posting system with the MLB. I won't be surprised if he goes to the Dodgers. With them getting Ohtani in free agency and getting Yamamoto in the posting in the league's posting system, I won't be surprised if the Dodgers really make a big push to become Japan's team.
Yeah. Oh, Tyler, I thought they were Japan's team. I mean, it seems like all great Japanese baseball players go to Los Angeles to play baseball.
Yeah.
That's the impression I
get.
get.
It was Hideo Nomo in the mid-'90s. He started his MLB career with them.
That's right. Mhm.
to Maeda as well. And nowadays you got guys like Otani Agency and Yamamoto playing, so it makes sense. I mean, it's one of the third it's a lot of the Japanese to go to Hawaii and the West Coast in terms of flying time zones, and you would have to go to the East Coast.
Yeah,
And you
absolutely.
got 3 time zones to go over.
Yeah, that's a lot of traveling too. You know, especially for someone coming from Japan. They'll be jet lagged, of course, going to there, but at least they'll have enough time to acclimate before the season starts.
Yep, it's time. And of course, it's also I hope to see how good Shota Imanaga is the Cubs next year.
Yeah. I'm curious.
He fell in love with that city.
Yeah, he's been a great addition, and yeah, I want to see the Cubs add more players from Japan. If that's what it takes for us to get back to the postseason, let's go get more then. As long as we got the money to do it, or at least we're not cap strapped. What's our excuse for?
Yep, let's see what happens. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Like I said, curious to see what the Cubs do in the offseason to better their bullpen. What kind of pieces?
And of course, you know, you got the Hall of Fame class getting announced.
Oh,
the Baseball Hall of Fame, and in a few weeks, you got the baseball postseason awards. The end of season awards. That is.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me, Tyler. I'm going to ask you a very tough question. Do you think Pete Rose and God rest his soul? Do you think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame?
I feel like no, because he bet. Yes, the league has sponsorship deals with DraftKings, but he clearly broke a rule. He bet on the Reds. When Ipe Midara was busted, he made statements saying one thing when he did his betting. He did not make any bets in baseball, not even the Dodgers.
Okay.
He did other sports. He knew what not to do. He got caught, yes, but at least he wasn't that stupid. Pete Rose definitely knew what he was doing when he was betting for the Reds, with betting the Reds.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but
no, I respect your answer there. I mean, there's always been that conflicting report. I'm kind of leaning towards he should be in, but Tyler, I respect that opinion. And hey, nothing either one of us can do to make a case either way. It's up to the MLB at the point. But
and Manfred made it abundantly clear, no. What makes you think the next commissioner that will come after him by 2030 or so will be any different?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else on your mind, Tyler?
Not exactly off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think I've run out of things to say on this Friday, the first day of November.
There's already that November already.
I know, years flying by. All right, sports fans, for those of you who tune in, I just want to, me and Tyler, we are grateful for the support, and we just want to say thank you once more. It means a lot to us to be able to talk with you guys, especially, and talk to you guys about sports. And again, I just want to say enjoy college basketball season and whatever other sports you're watching at this time. And hey, like I said, if you guys got questions for us, feel free to ask us whenever we do this next, or whether it's Wax on Wednesday or this. We'll try to get to those questions because I love answering sport-related questions.
Oh, definitely.
All right, sports fans, that is it for this week's Friday Roundtable. This is Jake Waxman.
And Tyler Love.
Wishing you all a good week. Take care, everyone, and thanks for joining in.
Yep. See you next time.
Bye now.